Hey gang, it's JC and this is the Daily Dose for Thursday, April 21st, 2011, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. We have some great old television history and cool stuff for you to look at up there on the Video Village and the Wayback Machine in our archives. Our eye candy feature right below what you're looking at right now is a good one today. We'll talk about it at the end of our segment. All right, 10,000 pot smokers gathered at the University of Colorado to celebrate 420 Day yesterday. Officials call it the biggest gathering of pot smokers on campus since the day before. Federal inspectors found rodent excrement near the front of an airplane by the food prep area at the front of a Delta jet. That's great. The rats are flying first class and I'm not. All right, we were at the ball game last night. Somebody gave us actually great tickets because they were tickets in one of those boxes, and you know, you look and you go, okay, well, this will be fun, and then you get there and it's like, ooh, it's really fun, and I don't get to sit in those boxes very often. You know, I have a press pass, and so I can sit in the press box whatever I want. And I know it probably seems glamorous and it seems great that you guys, it's great that you get in free, but the press box is about the most sterile, antiseptic place you'd ever want to be for a ball game. Frankly, it's not that much fun. The only fun about it is you can sit up there and maybe you talk to some of your friends who are in the electronic media or print media, as the case may be, and that's okay. They stopped feeding us a long time ago, although we do get free drinks up there, so you used to get free food and everything, but it's just, you can't cheer, you can't even, you're not even supposed to be excited about anything or like clap or go ooh or anything like that. It's considered really, really low rent if you do that, and you're not even supposed to wear red, you know, or a baseball hat with the Cardinal insignia on it or anything. So that's not my way of enjoying a baseball game. So anyhow, last night we had one of those luxury boxes, and it's right behind home plate. And I mean, like, there's the mound, there's the plate, and there's us directly behind home plate in the club level, which is, you know, a great place to watch a ball game. And you can actually watch the ball curving and stuff like that. It's very, very cool. But I have to tell you, according to the email and the Facebook stuff and everything else that we get, phone calls, people are not buying the explanation for Tony's face. Now, if you look at our eye candy feature from yesterday, it's right next to the one I put up today, and you'll see the swollen nature of Tony's right eye, and then there's some crap all over his forehead. And I feel for the guy. I don't hate Tony La Russa. I'm not one of those Tony La Russa haters. He drives me crazy, just like anybody else. But there's a lot of people who really think that Tony should just be run out of town, and I am not one of those people. And I've gotten to see Tony La Russa on a personal level on enough occasions to know that he's not a bad guy. And yeah, he drives me crazy with some of the stuff he does on the field and even some of the stuff off the field. But on balance, I have a lot of, at the absolute minimum, let's put it this way, I have a very healthy respect for Tony La Russa, and I'm surprised by people who, even though they don't like him personally or whatever the case may be, that they still don't respect him. That I don't get. The guy's going into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot whenever 5 years from when he retires. You have to respect that, and the guy has an amazing track record. I'm not exactly sure what people want from Tony La Russa, but anyhow, that all having been said, it's just overwhelming. I mean, people do not believe the explanation that it is conjunctivitis, which is pink eye. There's people who are just absolutely insisting that somebody clocked him or that he smarted off to somebody and somebody just drilled him, and that what has caused his eye to almost completely close and his forehead to have some sort of crap all over it, whatever that is, that this is not on the up and up. I have no reason to believe that the man doesn't have conjunctivitis, and the conspiracy theorists out there can go nuts, but I take the man at his word. But that having been said, people ain't buying it. It was on this date in 1898, speaking of baseball, that a guy by the name of Bill Duggleby of the Philadelphia Phillies had a grand slam in his first major league at bat. He's one of only 3 players ever to do that. According to Baseball Almanac, the other 2 were Jeremy Hermida of the Florida Marlins and Kevin Kosmanoff of the Cleveland Indians. Hermida did it in 2005. Kosmanoff did it in September of '06. Bobby Bonds got a grand slam for the Giants in his first major league game in 1968, but it was not his first at bat, it was his third. And you have to ask yourself, what is the greater feat and the thing that you should marvel at more? Somebody who hits a grand slam in his very first major league appearance, or somebody who hits a grand slam off the same pitcher twice in the same inning, as was the case with Fernando Tatis back in Los Angeles some years ago for your St. Louis Cardinals. And I got to go with the Tatis thing. That is just one of the most remarkable things I've ever seen. But that having been said, you know, I say this all the time. I go to baseball games and I watch tons of baseball, and for a long time I followed the team of whatever city I was in, whether it be St. Louis or any of the stops I made prior to getting to St. Louis, and also watched the Cubs because that's where I grew up in Chicago, so I always watched them. And I always say this, I watch all this baseball. I think we calculated a couple of years ago that I've spent something like 6.5 years of my life watching baseball, which does seem a little sick, doesn't it? But I say this all the time. At least twice a year, every year, I will see something that I've never seen at a baseball game. And it happened again last night. I swear to God, I don't even know. I mean, you say to yourself, how can stuff like this continue to happen that you've never seen before? And, you know, it was a very simple situation. A guy was at the plate last night for the Washington Nationals, and he is in the batter's box, and pitcher toes the rubber, and just as he's going into his windup, the batter looks back at the umpire and says, you know, timeout. Well, umpires are not required to give a batter timeout when he asks for it. And more umpires are getting mad at players who wait till the last second to call for timeout while a pitcher is in his windup, because frankly a pitcher could really hurt himself that way. It sounds weird, but when you're wound up like that and you got all that torque going and you're halfway or 3/4 of the way through your windup and somebody in the umpire goes timeout, it's amazing. You can really, really hurt yourself. You can pull all sorts of muscles and all sorts of stuff. So the umpires have been getting a little bitchy about that. So sure enough, last night, the Washington player calls for the timeout. And the ump is like, forget it. And so the guy is like turned this way. He's got one foot practically out of the batter's box. And when he realizes the ump isn't going to give him the timeout, he gets back, sets himself, but the ball is halfway to the plate at that point, and the guy swings and drills one right back up the middle at Jaime Garcia for a base hit. Never seen it before. It's amazing that I continue to still see stuff like this. It's just absolutely incredible. All right, yesterday there was a lot of people jumping up and down about this iPhone story, about the fact that the iPhone is secretly tracking your every move. Well, probably shouldn't freak out. And by the way, it's not just the iPhone. Let me just tell you a couple of things we found out. Number one, first of all, there is no evidence whatsoever that your travel log, if you will, is being transmitted back to Apple. And even if it was, I really have a hard time believing that they care how many times you went to Arby's that week. Number two, the feature is actually one that people asked for. It's what you use to track down your iPhone when it gets lost or stolen. Number three, as long as you're not cheating on your wife or some sort of serial killer or something like that, you probably should be okay. And because this is about Apple, it gets a lot of coverage, but the truth is that basically every smartphone has a GPS tracking and logging system in place. And, you know, if you want to see how much of your travel history is being stored on your iPhone, there is a new free app, and it's called iPhone Tracker. iPhone Tracker. It's free. You punch it up and you can see exactly what information your phone is storing. All right. Don't mess with crazy people in public transportation, especially in big cities. Yesterday morning, a 35-year-old woman on the New York subway took a lighter from a homeless guy who was trying to smoke, and he responded by stabbing her in the head with a pen. She's going to be okay, but, you know. And Homeland Security continues to dazzle us with their understanding of the American population. They have released their new terrorist warning system, which replaces those annoying colors with 2 levels, elevated and imminent. We were getting tired of finding out that our security level breach, whatever it is, had been raised to taupe. All right, I saw that Whoopi Goldberg was on television the other day yapping about her new toilet that has a heater in it and everything like that. Well, Kohler is about to come out with a new toilet, And here's what happens. You get a lid that automatically opens. I guess it sees you coming. A bidet that pulsates and oscillates. A charcoal filter to kill the odor. An iPod dock. A foot warmer. A flush that changes based on the size of what it is you leave in that toilet. It does not wipe you, however, but I'm sure they're working on that. Price of the new Kohler toilet, by the way, a mere $6,390. Go crazy, folks. There's a new book that's out with some interesting new facts about internet porn. A few of the highlights. Women account for about 25% of all visits to online porn, but only 2% of the subscriptions. Men search for mature women as much as they do for barely legals. Chubby women get more searches than thin women, and he-she porn is the most popular. It's more popular than threesomes or interracial. Ryan Dean, a reporter for Channel 5 here in St. Louis, has made the national news because he's on YouTube, because he didn't realize there was like one of these live shots, and they're like, okay, let's go to reporter Ryan Dean at the scene of the fire. Ryan, tell us all about it. Well, something was wrong with his earpiece or something happened. Ryan didn't know he was on camera, so they go to him, and he's sitting there just going, yeah-ta-ta, 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 like acting like an idiot, basically. That's not really his fault. Because, well, actually, let me think about that. Yeah, it is his fault. But it's not his fault that it was, never mind. Just don't do that. If you're in television, just always assume that your microphone is live and that you're on camera, because sometimes people forget to tell you stuff. Oh, and Justin Timberlake is losing his hair, by the way. That's why he has it cropped so close. They say he's using special shampoo because he's trying to save his hair. It doesn't work. Saturday Night Live star Andy Samberg is going to host this year's Shark Week on the Discovery Channel. Craig Ferguson did it last year. Khloe Kardashian plays herself on Monday's episode of Law and Order LA. Sadly, she will not be a victim. And when Lauren Bush, who is the granddaughter of a particular former president, gets married to fashion heir David Lauren, you see this coming? Lauren Bush is marrying David Lauren. Her married name is going to be Lauren Bush. It's going to be Lauren Bush Lauren. I can't write this stuff, folks. I just can't. All right. There's our picture of Virginia Kerr yesterday in the studio with us, so make sure you check that out. That's at our eye candy right below what you're looking at right now. That's it, JC's Daily Dose for whatever day it is. It's Thursday, April 21st, 2011, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. And in the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Where's my ball? Bye.